Hi everyone, my name is Kate Warnock, coming to you live from the GuideWell Insights Lounge. I'm so excited to be coming to you from day one of Singularity University's Exponential Medicine. And as our very first guest, we have Dr. Prakash Patel. Prakash, welcome to the interview.
Thank you, great to be here.
We're happy to have you. So Prakash is the Chief Operating Officer at GuideWell and the President of GuideWell Health. Prakash, I know that you got to sit in on the first couple sessions
Correct.
of Exponential Medicine. Tell us what you learned from Daniel Kraft and some of the other speakers you got to hear.
Well, I'll tell you my expectations. This is a conference that bills itself as being exponential. Its headquarters is in the NASA Research Center in Silicon Valley. So my expectations for the conference are pretty astronomical. Having said that, what's very clear to me from the first two speakers, and I think we're going to see this play out throughout the next couple of days, is that there are a number of groups here looking to disrupt healthcare. And it's also very clear that if you look at most industries, and healthcare is no exception, very few incumbents actually reinvent themselves. It usually comes from the outside. What's not so clear, and we'll see how it plays out over the next several days, is that are we really talking about disruption? Are we talking about complementing what we have? Is it interruption? Is it changing the business models fundamentally? And how does that play into a lot of the other major themes that we've been talking about at GuideWell and are preparing for? That's not so clear, and we'll be working through that. What I've learned is I think three major themes that are coming out so far, and again, it's only been the first two discussions. One is the area of big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics, sort of that one big broad theme. The other is how the engagement with the consumer, the individual, and really around continuous engagement and continuous monitoring. We're starting to hint into some of those things that'll be coming through as we talk about over the next couple of days. And then finally, on-demand novel therapeutics and services, which is a very unique concept in healthcare, as opposed to having all the infrastructure ready to go and then waiting for the members to come or patients to come. It's really about meeting the customer around their needs and their time, whenever they need it, wherever they need it. And I think those are some major themes that I see coming across already.
So Prakash, in the role that you play at GuideWell, I think that you're really in a unique position to listen to all the themes that are being discussed, as you just mentioned. Do you see particular applications already at this point that you might be bringing back to GuideWell and see that you could potentially either pilot or implement, or how do you think that you'll leave here?
I think it's still early in terms of what are the platforms, but there's certainly some concepts that are very important. So thematically, for example, the major changes that we're undergoing right now and implementing around care management and creating a whole new vertical division within our care management group over at GuideWell, I see major themes that potentially could intersect there in terms of how do we engage the customer, how do we prevent admissions and ER visits, how do we get the analytics to empower that, what's our interventions look like as opposed to even the patient-doctor visits. Are there opportunities to use smart apps and platforms like that we can monitor at the home, that we can get more continuous data points such that we can embed that into those visits when they do have to take place. Much more real time, much more continuous, much more impactful. So I see some of those themes already coming out, and they could empower what we're trying to do in our pods. It's pretty interesting.
So Prakash, again, I know that obviously there are really big challenges that the entire industry is facing, including challenges like the aging boomer wave and other chronic disease-related conditions that might be related with more people becoming obese. How is it that GuideWell is preparing itself to address those population health challenges?
I think the big part for us is trying to, again, going back to the issue and opportunity in data. Right now, the way our system is set up, and it's true for our environment, besides fee-for-service, even though we're trying to migrate to the value-based environment, the data we collect on patients is still very static. These are, for example, when you go to see the doctor, they take your vitals, they look at your blood sugar if you get a laboratory test done. They may look at other aspects of your clinical background, but it's a very static environment.
And discrete.
It's discrete events, right? If
Right.
we're really going to make an impact, we need to find out what's happening over a longer period of time and what's happening in your home environment. What is it like when you're at home? What is it like when you're at work? What is it like when your day-to-day life? It's really about life management. as opposed to what's happening today. So if we can embed those kinds of platforms, that's when we can start to bend this cost curve and the quality curve. Otherwise, we're still going to be in that discrete world. We can change the payment mechanism, but the data elements coming in are still very discrete, and we're not putting it together on a continuous basis. So I think those are great opportunities. And if you listen to Dr. Kraft speak, it was very clear. And again, he gave a nice overview, and it was fast if you were able to listen. But he is a dynamic speaker.
Yes.
But there's a lot of those kinds of themes are starting to emerge, and I think there's going to be things that we're going to be able to grasp.
And I think what's exciting too is you talk about all of these ways that we're going to be collecting more information from the individual. It really does help to empower that consumer to become more engaged with their own health and really hopefully more interested in getting those healthier outcomes. And I know that GuideWell is really there to help assist along the way. So I really hope, Dr. Patel, that we meet up with you over the next few days. I would love to have you back, tell us more of what you thought about exponential medicine, and we look forward to having you again here soon.
Great, thanks, Kate.
Thank you.